What is up, y'all? Welcome back out to the bench in the backyard. My name is Jordan, and this is a bunch of free Chinese elm. Found these out in the parking lot behind where I work, um, and there's just a bunch of them. So yeah, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got one down here in this little forest that I made. It's just over here hanging out at the edge of this silk tree, silk mimosa little mame forest that I made. Um, I just felt like putting it in there. I don't know. Um, and it's just, well, all right, so that's 7. And then this guy right here is another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So another 7 trees right here. So that's 14 free Chinese elms that I got. These right here are that Kabadachi that I did when I first dug these up. So it's 7 trees, took a little zip tie and cinched them all together and buried that below the soil line. So what's going to happen is these things are going to thicken up. And as they do, that zip tie should cut off the flow of nutrients from up here down to the roots. And we should get a ground layer right there where that zip tie is. This one I'm going to put back out on the bench. I'm not taking any cuttings off of this today. Oh, I guess I should have told y'all. Today is we're going to be doing a bunch of cuttings. So it's going to be mostly Chinese elms. I've got these plus that one that I bought up in Greenville last year or at the beginning of this year. One of those two. And then I'm also going to be taking some Kingsville cuttings. And we'll get those done today and I'll show you a little how I'm going to be doing it. And we'll get into that. I'll go put this back out on the bench and then we'll get started. Also, I'm not going to be taking any cuttings off of this forest. This is just a sacrifice branch, trying to thicken up this trunk a little bit. What we're probably going to wind up doing is semi-cascading this out like that. And then our apex will be made with primarily these two. We'll see what happens to these shoots right here. It's pretty straight up and down, so we'll probably get rid of those and just use these with a little depth branch right there. Should be kind of fun. If y'all didn't see, I did a live stream little bonsai Bible study with this, where I made it. If y'all want to see something like that again, it doesn't necessarily have to be a Bible study, but that's how I did it. Then let me know down in the comments and I can put something like that together. It was a little simple thing. Just sat at my desk, did all of it. Took about an hour and a half, but that included all the other stuff. But yeah, so fun little forest right there. Little mame and one of those handmade pots that I made last year. But yeah. All right, so everything that I've got for this, I've got a bucket of water. I've got some stuff to plant it in, which I will be showing y'all how to set that up in just a little bit. And then I've got my plants. So little bucket of water. What we're going to do is we're going to take our cuttings, drop them in the water, do all our cutting all at once, and then do our potting up afterwards. I'll be using a little bit of hormone rooting powder number 3. It's a Hormex number 3. Whatever rooting hormone you use, if it's a gel, if it's willow water, or whatever it is, use that. For me, I've just got a bunch of the powder, so that's what I'm going to be using. So what we'll do is, as we come into this, we don't need to take a whole lot off of some of these. Some of them are a lot smaller than the rest. We'll just come in, clip off 4 or 5 leaves. Some of them will come way back. We'll just have more cuttings off of each one of those. Like I said, we're not taking off a whole bunch. Something got into this guy. But everywhere I'm cutting, I'm just coming back to right above one of the leaves and cutting there. Leaving at least 2 leaves on the branch. These have grown quite a bit since the spring or late winter when I first picked them out. I mean, this one was probably the size of a toothpick. It's now not quite a pencil, but it's pretty close. This one, so that one's probably about the thickness of a chopstick. We've got this one. It doesn't have a whole lot down low. But by cutting this, we should be forcing some back budding down low. And that'll be nice. And when you're taking cuttings like this, doing a softwood cutting, you don't really want to go much thicker than a chopstick. All of these are about toothpick size that I'm taking. I'm not really worried about directionality with any of these with any of these branches that I'm cutting. They're all like super young. They're all just none of the branches that are currently on here are anything that I would use. We're mainly just worried about the trunks. I may go in later today, throw some wire on some of these. I just took wire off of one of them that I twisted up in the beginning when I planted. It was the biggest one that I had, and it is currently either the biggest or the second biggest. I think we'll leave the rest of that one on. Now this was the biggest one that I had. Twisted it up a little bit, as you can see. Took the wire off a couple weeks ago. It was starting to bite in. This is the one that we used. The only wire that was on it was the wire that we wrapped around the trunk to hold it in. It's now really snug in there. Don't have any wire on the trunk anymore. Like I said, that got taken off. It did bite in a little bit right in here. I don't know if you can really see it. So you can see it's got a little bit of wire marks on it. Not super worried about it. We may actually cut back and just use this guy right here. We'll see how this over the rest of the season, if the rest of the trunk kind of catches up. And if it does, great. If not, we can always cut back to this guy and just start fresh from way down low with a bit of a nice thick base for such a thin leader. But yeah, I think all I'm going to be cutting on is this first directional branch. I don't really want to, I want this thing to be pushing as much energy as I can to kind of try and heal those wire marks down here. So I think we may just leave it at that, just the one off of it. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I've got plenty. Another one, this was also probably about a toothpick. It's probably a chopstick and a half now. And doing this now, we should get another flush of growth out, so we can get a little bit more weight on this tree. And lastly, if the Chinese elms, I've got that one that I got up in Greenville this past spring. And it has just grown and grown and grown. So we're actually going to come back, take this one pretty far back, make sure that we're not jumping too far out of the profile that we had before. And with this, we're cutting back to 2 or 3 leaves on each branch. And I'm going to do this to the whole tree. Anything that's big enough to save, like this one, take it, just check it down in our water with all the rest of the cuttings. So I'll see y'all when I get done with this. I'll speed it up a little bit. That way y'all don't have to watch 45 minutes of me just sitting here pruning. All right, so we're done trimming this one, pruning, whatever. Cut back to 2, 3 sometimes, miss a spot. Every time I tell you I'm done with something, I find another one to go. All right, so I'm going to treat this one like a partial defoliation. It's going on the bench in the shade. And in about a week or so, it'll get moved back out onto the regular bench where it'll get full sun. But for right now, that's what we got. All right. So we've got our bowl of cuttings. And I've just got a little 3-piece tray with holes and a plastic lid. This one comes with a little plastic butterfly, goes on top. And that just keeps the humidity in. You can open it up a little bit if you need a little bit of airflow. But since these things have little holes in them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take little strips of window screen. I just got a roll of window screen repair. And I'm just going to drop a little rectangle down in just to make sure that hole is covered up. What I'm going to be using today is going to be a 50-50 mix of medium perlite. When they say medium perlite, it's still pretty small. Hence the screens down on the bottom. I don't want to lose all my substrate. And all I did was cut a bunch of strips that are the right size this way. The right size this way. And now I'm just cutting little pieces, dropping them in. I guess for this, we need to be down a little bit lower. And we're just covering that hole with a little bit of window mesh. Just so our substrate doesn't fall through the bottom. We don't have to worry about tying this in. It's not going to get watered super heavy. So I've got a 50-50 blend, perlite and cocoa coir. So like I said, it's medium perlite, a little bit of cocoa coir in there, just to retain a little bit more moisture. And what I'll do, just put it in, smooth it out over the top. And then from there, I'm going to take a little bit of vermiculite. It's just a lot finer. And that way, when the cuttings are putting out their first roots, they have something a lot closer together to kind of grow in. And this we can just kind of sprinkle around on top. And we know in the middle of each of these cells, it's going to be our hole, which we'll make another hole with our chopstick again. So we'll go in with our chopstick just straight down, right in the middle, with the skinny side of our chopstick, I should say. Just make sure that And so what we're going to do with this is we're looking at a series of about 5 leaves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to come down to that 6th leaf, just below the leaf. And then we'll cut it off, leaving the top 2 leaves. And if it's got a leader, it's got a leader. Take that cut end down into the water, and then we're going to put a little bit of our rooting hormone on it, push it all the way down. Some of these will be able to get multiple cuttings out of the same piece. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves. Cut right below the 6th. And then we're going to cut off all of the leaves and all of the branches except for the top 2. Cut those back a little bit, dip in the water, down in our rooting hormone, and push it down. And this one is a little bit long. For some of these that are coming off of the big tree that I bought, we're just going to clean up the bottom inch or so. And I'm going to do that with all the rest of them. And I will see y'all when I get done. And here comes the rain. All right, so we've got 3 trays of 24. We're just going to water them in real quick. Make sure they get nice and soaked through. And then they're each going to go in their bottom tray. And get their little plastic lid. Now these are going to stay covered in the shade until I see some new growth on them. Once I see new growth on them, they'll get moved out into partial sun. And then eventually full sun. They're going to stay covered until they go into full sun, just to make sure that they have time for their roots to set up and actually start coming out. So, that'll probably be about 4 to 6 weeks before I see new growth. And once that happens, I will see y'all then. Got my trusty bucket of water also. So we'll be pulling all of these off. With Kingsville, they don't heal very quickly. It's a very, 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 very slow growing boxwood. Boxwoods in general are slow growing, but Kingsville in particular are extremely slow growing. So we're going to be doing some work on this. This little guy is going to stay. I kind of like it. Rodney really liked it too. And if anybody knows Kingsville Boxwoods, it's Rodney Clemens. So I'll keep everything and just go through it. I've got one more of those 24 cell containers. So I've got 72 cells of Chinese elm. And hopefully we can get 24 out of this, including this guy down here. We can go ahead and pull him straight off. So that really helped. That had to go. I mean, it was just right here, hanging down super low. Doesn't look good. So that's going to be the front of our tree. This thing has turned out friggin' amazing. I think I'm going to leave this here. It's really thick, so it'd be a pretty big scar right here on the outside of this bin. And it's kind of interesting. I can bring this around a little bit and turn it into a pad right there to kind of break up this line a little bit. We're also going to want to bring probably some of this down a little bit just to kind of give us a nice little open look at the canopy. A lot of this will get dropped down, kind of fill in those holes. Sorry. So if that's the front, we kind of bring it down a little bit like that in the back. So we've got this open up front. Drop this down probably about right there. Bring that right there. We could probably bring this over. That up, or we can bring that up, bring this out and around, kind of like that, and bring that down. But yeah. All right, so that's mostly cleaned out. I mean, there's some stuff in here. Every time I say, oh, I'm done, find something else to clean. So there we go. I'm really done this time, I think. There's some spots that can probably... All right, no more. I'm done. I'm putting it on the bench. All right, same deal as before. I'm going to take them, strip off the lower leaves, dip it in the rooting powder, or the hormone powder. All right, so we've got 24 of them potted up. I've got 2 bonuses. So they're both fairly big. Hopefully they will root. This one we're going to actually shorten up. And same with this one. Cut it at an angle. Just get a little bit more of that cambium showing. Throw a little bit. Throw that window screen down in the bottom. Again, same 50-50 blend of perlite and cocoa coir. Firm it in just a little bit. Doesn't have to be much. Don't have to pack it in there real hard. We want it still to be able to drain. And then same deal. This one we're going to go just straight down into the perlite mixture. I'm not going to worry about the vermiculite. And just straight down. Now we'll water these in, but instead of putting them in that thing, what we're going to do is just take some Ziploc bags, plastic zip top bags, whatever you want to call them, and seal those up in that. And that'll act just like that plastic dome will on the trays. And I'll see y'all in about a month or two once these have had chance to root, hopefully they will all root, and if not, then just cost me a little bit of Hormex rooting powder. It's not too bad. But yeah, so I'll see y'all in a little bit. Okay, so it's been about a month since I took these cuttings. It's actually 2 days from now will be a month, but I figured I'd go ahead and let y'all see what we got. So these are the Kingsvilles. I had one that yellowed out. This one might. That's still green. I want to leave that. But I started seeing new growth on some of these. I got new growth here. I've got new growth there. New growth here. So lost one out of the 24 here. So that's pretty good ratio on that. Did pretty well. Next thing I got is the 3 trays of Chinese elm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of this one. So we got 14 good trees. These all have some's got new growth, but they've all still got their leaves. They've just been sitting in the shade, hanging out. I did have one that had lost all its leaves, pulled it. It did have some roots on it, but not enough, obviously, to keep the tree alive. The rest of these should all be okay. So lost 10 on that one. One, two, three, 4 on this one. I've got some dead leaves here, but that was just a few leaves that fell off. All of the rest of this has green on it, so we should be okay. So that's 14 out of 48. Woohoo! And the last pot lost 1. So yeah, nope, 2. So 16 out of the 72 Chinese elms didn't make it, but that's again, it's a pretty good ratio. So that's carry the 4, 54 new trees. These, like I said before, they spent some time in the shade. Now they'll go out in the partial sun. And as I do that, we're going to open up the vents just a little bit to get some air circulation in there and make sure that we're not just steaming the trees. Once they go out into full sun, the lids will come off totally, and they will be their own little trays of things. And then later this fall or early spring next year, I'll go individually pot these, let them grow out for a season or two. And then, especially with the Kingsvilles, probably put these in the ground. I'll need them because it's the only way we're going to get any decent growth out of them. And even still, it'll be 5 to 10 years before I can even think about doing a little small mame with them. So yeah. Oh, speaking of mames, check out the 2 Kingsville, the big stems that I pulled. So this is that little Y branch. It does have some new growth on it. And this is the little semi-cascade branch that I had. Obviously some new growth over here. So yeah, it looks like both of these turned out pretty good. They'll go back in their little plastic bags. I'll leave it open instead of closed, just to kind of keep it a little bit moister in there. The soil's still pretty moist. I did not water these at all. So just keeping them with the plastic lid on, vent closed, and these in the plastic bags. They obviously didn't use a whole lot of water. They did use some, but not a lot. So yeah, so that's a whole bunch of new cuttings that I got. So it's a whole bunch of trees that are going to be. These Chinese elms should grow out and be usable in like 2 or 3 years, at least for small mame and Shohin size bonsai. These Kingsvilles, this one, like, I could, I guess, technically make a mame out of this. I don't know what the roots are going to look like down there, where they're going to have rooted from, but I'm pretty sure it has got some new roots because I've got a whole lot of new growth. So that's my cuttings for this year. And yeah, so if you liked what you saw today, please subscribe, throw a thumbs up down below. If you didn't like what you saw, leave a comment. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me a way to better my cuttings. I do have some cuttings that are off of a couple of Japanese maples and some junipers that I just stuck into an Anderson flat, just kind of all together. Those are uncovered, and they get misted about 2 or 3 times a day. So right now I've had a couple of the maples didn't make it, but most of the junipers are all fine. So we'll see how those turn out. But yeah, so until the next time I see y'all at a bench in the backyard, just remember to grow them big, but keep them small.